QW unit, and consume, right? The tangents between indifferent curve and production possibility curve is consumption point. Then they consume DC here and consume Y here, right? Production equal consumption. Right? The slope of PPF is called opportunity cost, right? Slope. Right? So this is for rate, right? For rate. So if you look at these two graphs, the slope of ALC over ALW is opportunity cost of cheese, right, in terms of Y. It means if we produce more cheese, how many Y that we cannot produce or we give up, right? So if you look at these two graphs, it means opportunity cost of cheese in terms of Y of home less than foreign, right? Less than foreign. So it means home has comparative advantage in cheese, right? In cheese, and foreign has comparative advantage in wine production. So at closed economy, opportunity cost must be equal to relative price, right, for both countries. So it means home can produce cheese cheaper than wine, right, relative to foreign. That's why PC over PW less than PC star over PW star foreign. So after trade, after two countries open to the trade, right? If both countries open to the trade, then relative price must be determined by world market, right? Relative price or world relative price must be determined by world market. That's why we need to construct relative supply curve of the world relative supply curve. So we get this line like this, right? Like a ladder, right? And also we have relative demand, right? Relative demand can intersect with relative supply at any point, right? If they intersect at point 2, what happens? At point 2, at point 2, here at point 2, okay. It means world price equals to opportunity cost of home, right? Equals to relative price of home before trade, right? So in this case, home, what happens? What happens to home? Home, right? Not better off or worse off from trade. That's why home is not willing to trade, because for home it unchanged, right, after trade. But for foreigns, what happens to foreigns? What happened to foreigns? Relative price of foreigns decrease. Right? It means relative price PC over PW decrease. What does it mean? Price of wine increase, price of cheese decrease, then foreign better off, right? Because foreign has comparative advantage in wine. So price of wine increase, then it's good for foreign. So for point 2, foreigners willing to trade. So it means point 2, it's not has mutual benefit, right? Only foreigners has benefit from trade. Right. Also for, okay, let's say point 1. If relative demand and relative supply intersect at point 1, what happens? Only foreign, right? Only home better off, but foreign doesn't change. So at point 1, home willing to trade, but not foreign. That's why point 3 is better, right? Point 3 means both have mutual benefits from trade. Because of at point 3, world price it's lie between domestic price. So for home, relative price increase. For foreign, relative price increase. For home, price of cheese increase, so home's better off. Price of wine increase in foreign, so foreign's better off. It means at point 3, both countries have mutual benefits from trade. That's why at point 3, both countries are willing to trade. Right. Then we draw, right, after trade, relative price of home increase, right, increase. So GDP line change to this one, the red line. PC over PW world. Right, for foreign, relative price decrease. Then where is production point? Production point tangents between PPF and like GDP line. So this is production point. So it means after trade, what happens after trade? After trade, home produce only cheese. Home produce only cheese mean home has completely specialization in cheese production. Completely specialization in cheese production. Right. So after trade, home produce only cheese. How about consumption? Price of cheese increase in home. That's why home consume less cheese. Price of wine decrease in home, then home consume more wine. Right. That's why consumption point is here. Then this is production point of cheese, consumption point. So this is the export volume, right? It's like home export cheese to foreign. And this is import wine from foreign. Right? For foreign, after trade, foreign produce only what? Only wine. So it means foreign has completely specialization in wine. Completely specialization means they concentrate production in only wine, not at all produce cheese. Right. After open to the trade, price of wine in foreign increase or decrease? Price of wine in foreign. Price of wine increase, right? Price of wine in foreign increase, then produce less wine. Not drink, consume less wine, consume more cheese. Right? This is consumption point. Then they not produce cheese, right? But consume cheese here. So this is import cheese. Import cheese and export wine. So this is the patterns of trade. The patterns of trade mean home has comparative advantage in cheese. That's why home export cheese. Foreign has comparative advantage in wine. So foreign export wine, import cheese. So this is what we did last week. So any questions? Any questions? Any questions before we go further? So if you have any questions, you should ask, because it will be more complicated. So this, okay, this is, so at point 1, is our world trade equilibrium. Okay, let's summarize. What is gain from trade? What are the gain from trade? If both countries open to the trade, what are the gains? The first one, right? Gain from trade come from specializing in the type of production which use resources most efficiently, right? What does it mean? The first sentence. Gain from trade come from specialization, type of production which use resource most efficiently. So it means after trade, right? After trade, okay, before trade, home produce both. It means home has to allocate labor to produce both cheese and wine by itself, right? And foreigners also has to allocate labor to produce both cheese and wine by itself. But after trade, home specialize in cheese, foreign specialize in wine. So it means foreigners produce only what homes has efficiently things, right? Because home has comparative advantage in cheese. That's why home produce only cheese. They allocate labor to produce most efficient products for the country. They don't need to produce both at all, right? And also foreigners allocate labor to produce only wine. Wine is the most efficient product for foreigners. So it means they produce what they has specialization. And when they produce what they have specialization, the income from production increase, right? Because they trade with each other, right? The price of cheese in home increase, right? So every worker work in cheese factory. When price of cheese increase, then they got higher wage. When they got higher wage, then they have high income. When they got higher income, then they can consume more. As the same as foreigners, right? Every worker work in wine factory. Price of wine in home, price of wine in foreign increase. When price of wine in foreign increase, they got higher wage. When they got higher wage, higher income, higher consumption. So this is the first one, gain from trade. And as I said, when open to the trade, wage in home and foreign increase. So what is wage in home? Wage in home. Home produce only cheese, right? So wage in cheese industry equal what? Wage determines by wage.
Price.
I pay you $1 an hour. How $1 an hour determines wage? Wage. So I have to. What is wage? So I have to calculate that how many products you can produce for me, right? If 1 hour you can produce 2 units, right? 1 hour can produce 2 units. Then it means you can produce 2 units time price. Okay, let's say $1 a unit. So it means you can generate $2 for the company, right? So wage equals to what? 1 divided by marginal productivity, right? Of labor in cheese industry time price of cheese, right? Because 1 over marginal product. Marginal products mean 1 hour can produce how many goods, right? 1 over MP means one goods, no. MPs mean 1 hour can produce how many goods, right? 1 hour, yes. Yes, one over MP, 1 hour. 1 more hour can produce how many units of goods? Then P times 1 over MP in economics we call value of should be not like this. It should be this one, right? Because MP is 1 hour can produce how many goods, how many units. Then time price is the value of the value of marginal product, VMP. Then it's equal to wage. Because of this is perfect competition. Perfect competitions mean normal profits become 0. Then if you can produce $2 for the company, so I pay you $2, so I gain nothing, 0 profit. That's why wage equal price times marginal product. Right. After open to the trade, price of cheese increase or decrease? Price of cheese increase. That's why wage increase, right? It means home earns higher income. How about foreign? How about foreign? Now, after open to the trade, foreign produce only wine, right? So it means wage in wine industry in foreign equal what? Price of wine times MPL of wine. Then after open to the trade, price of wine increase in foreign, right? That's why foreign worker earns higher income from wine production. Yeah. Do you understand? Do you understand? One more. Right? Wage equal to P times MP. P times MP, you know, right? Because MP means 1 ounce can produce how many units of goods? For example, MP equal to 2, MPL equal to 2. What does it mean? 1 ounce can produce 2, what is unit of cheese? 2 pounds of cheese. 1 ounce can produce 2 pounds of cheese. Then price of cheese is 1 pound, $2. £1, $2. So it means wage. You can produce how many dollars for company? $4, right? For company. That's why I pay you $4. Because perfect competition, no profit. You generate income $4, I have to pay you $4. So that's why wage equal to price times marginal products. So after open to the trade, price of cheese increase, right? Price of cheese increase, then wage increase. Domestic worker earns higher income. Right? Foreign worker also earns higher income because now price of wine in foreign increase, so wage in wine industry in foreign increase. Because of now everyone in foreign work, everyone in home, every worker in home now work in cheese factory, right? Then they got higher wage. Also in foreign, they work in wine factory, they got higher wage. Then they gains from trade. Okay, the first one of gain from trade is produce the most efficient thing, right? Allocate resource to produce the most efficient thing. The second one is foreign worker and home worker earns higher income from trade. The third one of gain from trade is the benefits from indirect methods of production. Indirect method of production. What is indirect method of production? Okay. So before you have to know what is direct method of production. Direct methods of production means if you want to consume cheese, produce cheese. If you want to consume wine, produce wine. This is direct method of production, right? It's straightforward. If you want to produce, if you want to consume cheese, produce cheese. If you want to consume wine, produce wine. Okay. Assume ALC equal to what? What? 1, right? ALC is 1. ALC is 1, right? Do you ALC is 1, right? I think it's 1. I think it's 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1. ALC is okay. ALC is 1. ALW is 2. Okay. ALC is 1. ALW is 2. So what is opportunity cost? What is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost of cheese in terms of wine. 1/2, right? 0.5, right? Okay. Okay, let's say if no trade, if there is no trade, if you want to consume wine, you have to produce wine, right? Okay, if you want to consume 1 gallon of wine, 1 gallon of wine, 1 gallon of wine. If you want to consume 1 gallon of wine, then you need how many hours of labor? If you want to consume 1 gallon of wine, you have to produce wine. Then it means you need 2 hours of labor, right? 2 hours of labor, right? 2 hours of labor. 2 hours of labor. 2 hours of labor. Then you have to, you need 2 hours of labor. Then you cannot produce how many pounds of cheese, because trade off, right? If you produce 1 more gallons of wine, you need to sacrifice
2 pounds.
what? How much?
2 pounds.
Hmm? 2 pounds of 2 pounds of cheese, right? So it means 2 pounds of cheese. So it means this is indirect method. If you want to consume one gallons of wine, you need to sacrifice 2 pounds of cheese. Let's see indirect method. Indirect methods of production. What difference between direct and indirect? Indirect mean if you want to consume wine, you produce cheese and trade with wine, right? Direct mean if you want to consume wine, produce wine, direct, right? But indirect mean if you want to consume wine, but you have to produce cheese and trade cheese with wine. It's better than direct method. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, if trade ALC over ALW is 1 over 2, right? So let's say this is okay, this is 1 over 2, right? 1 over 2. 1 over 2 is relative price of home before trade. 1 over 2. Okay, let's assume world price is 1. World price is 1. Right? World price 1. PC over PW is 1. Assume it's 1. Greater than 1 over 2. It's 1. What does it mean 1? 1 means price of cheese equal price of wine, right? Price of cheese equal price of wine. So it means if you export cheese 1 unit, 1 unit of cheese, you get how many wine? 1 unit of wine, right? 1 to 1. Export 1, you can import 1. Right? So 1. Then it means if you want to produce, if you want to consume 1 unit of wine, you have to produce 1 unit of cheese, right? To trade 1 to 1. 1 unit of cheese needs how many hours? Just 1 hour, right? Just 1 hour. But if you do direct method, you need 2 hours. Right? That's why indirect method is better than direct method. Do you understand? Right? Right. Because if you want to consume wine, you produce cheese, right? But relative price 1, it means if you export one unit of cheese, you get 1 unit of wine, right? That's why you produce only 1 unit of cheese. 1 unit of cheese needs just 1 ounce. But if you produce wine by yourself, you need 2 ounces. That's why international trade
is better than